Welcome back to my channel. Donna Parsons here, and today we are going to be learning how to create basic formulas in Excel. Very, very easy to do. So what you're looking at right now is a keypad that I have on my keyboard, a picture of that, and the operators. Now the operators are the plus sign, the minus sign, the asterisk, and the front slash. So you have these guys that are the functions on your keypad. So for example, when you want to do addition in Excel, this plus sign is the addition. The minus here is subtraction. The asterisk here is multiplication. And the front slash is your division symbol. So these are the guys that you're going to be looking for on your keyboard. Now, if you don't have a keypad across the top of your numbers, right above your numbers, there should be those functions as well. So for example, a shift and the number 8 on your keyboard would be the multiplication. There should be a little asterisk above that. So that would be, for example, the multiplication. All right, so let's create a basic formula. So right now in cell A3, I have the number 25, and in cell B3, I have the number 5. So I'm going to left click my mouse in cell D3, and we're going to create the formula that says adding A3 plus B3. So you always start out a formula with the equal sign, and the equal sign is to the left of the backspace key on your keyboard. And I am going to type in equals A3 plus B3. So I have equals A3 plus B3. And when I press enter on my keyboard, I get the answer 30. There's another way of doing this, and let me show you how to do that. I'm going to delete it. So instead of typing A3 and B3, I'm just going to start the formula with the equals sign. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to left click my mouse in cell A3, and I'm going to use my plus sign, and then I'm going to left click my mouse and left click on B3. And when I do and press enter on my keyboard, I get the same answer. So let's do one with subtraction, and that is the minus. So now it's equals, and I'm going to left click my mouse in cell A3, and now I'm going to use my minus symbol, and I'm going to left click my mouse in cell B3 and press enter on my keyboard. Let's do multiplication. Equals A3, I left click on A3, times the little asterisk, B3. Enter on my keyboard. There's the answer. Let's do the division. Equals A3 divided by A5. The answer is 5. So why don't we just say equals, A3 plus B3, or equals 25 plus 5. Why don't we just say, okay, what's 25 plus 5? The answer is 30. Because if I was to change this number, so instead of me using the number 25, now that I have the formula already done, and if I was to change that to 35, look at all the numbers change accordingly. So every cell that has A3 in it automatically changes to reflect the correct answer in my basic formulas. That is how easy it is to do. So let's come over to sheet number 1 here, and we're going to do autosum. Now autosum is a formula already created for you, so you do not have to know how to do it. So if I wanted to add A1 A2, and A3 and get the answer here, you are going to make sure that you are on your home tab, and you're going to come all the way over to the editing section in your home tab, and you're going to see a little pi symbol, and to the right of it says the word autosum. And when I click the down arrow, there are some more choices, but in this case, in A4, I want to say sum. So I'm going to left click my mouse right on the word sum, and now the formula automatically appears in cell A4. So the formula reads equals sum, open parentheses, A1, and the colon in Excel language is the word through, A3, close parentheses. So all I need to do is press enter on my keyboard, and there's the answer. All right, so let's left click back in cell A4. I'm going to press my delete key on my keyboard. So if I want all of these, I want the answer here, okay? I'm going to make sure that I'm in my home tab. I'm going to come all the way over to the autosum in the editing section on my home tab. I'm going to left click my mouse, and now you can see that it surrounds the area that it wants to sum automatically with the correct formula that Excel did automatically for me. I didn't do anything. And now I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. So if you're just doing a sum, you don't have to do a manual formula. So let's come over to cell E4, and I want the average of all of those three cells. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come up to the home tab, and then in the editing section where we just looked at auto sum, I'm going to click my down arrow, and I'm going to find the word average. When I left click my mouse on the word average, it says equal average. E1 colon is the word through in Excel language, E3. And when I press enter on my keyboard, that's the average of those three items. So let's do that again. I'm going to come up to the auto sum, going to select the word average. It automatically enters the correct formula, and when I press enter on my keyboard, that's the average. Now if I wanted to increase the decimal point here, for example, I'm going to come up to my number tab here in my home tab, my number section, and you have increased decimal or decreased decimal. So if I chose increased decimal, it's going to give me the exact amount. If I wanted to select the dollar sign does what? It gives me a pound symbol. Pound symbol means that the cell is not wide enough for the data that is in there. In this case, all I need to do is I need to make the cell wider, and I showed you that in a previous lesson. So all you need to do is hold down your left mouse button down between the E and the F and drag it to the right and release, and when I do, you have the dollar sign, for example. If I wanted to make all of these with the dollar sign as well, I'm just going to select them, hold my left mouse button down and drag it down and select these three items, and I'm going to come up to the number section, and I'm going to left click my mouse on the dollar sign, and it automatically enters the dollar sign. Okay, I formatted this a lot larger in the font than these guys, okay, but that's okay. Let's do the same thing over here. So let's select all of these, and let's do the dollar sign there, and there I have the decimal points with the dollar signs. Super easy to accomplish, and that is how you do auto sum, auto average, and basic formulas in Excel. Now we're going to go to the next tab, and we're just going to do a little lesson. Why not? So let's zoom in on this practice skill drill, and it says that if the sales were $10,000 and we had $200 return, we need to calculate the net sales in cell B7. So if I left click my mouse in cell B7 and I do a manual formula, so it's going to be equals, okay, and I'm going to left click on cell B5 and I'm going to subtract B6, so it's equal B5 minus B6. And when I press enter on my keyboard, there's the correct amount. Okay? So I hope you found this lesson helpful. And let's go on to the next lesson. If you like what I have to say, please subscribe.